boy, did he give them a spark, J-Mac.
He did, and it starts with the energy. You see the crowd there, and it filtered all throughout this team.
Meanwhile, on the defensive side, the Giants had a good game. I think it helped them, too. How about Sexy Dexy here?
Woo. How about this? The only thing about this play that I don't like, Hannah, is that he couldn't finish the job and take it all the way back to the house.
I know.
He's going right for the oxygen tank after this interception.
Marcus loves it.
What a
See him
player.
in big man balling, though.
Oh, no
right?
doubt. He might get the whole segment this week.
Yeah. Tipped and picked off there, Justin Herbert. And here's Dart looking for Malik Neighbors, and this is just horrible news as Adam Schefter reports it's a torn ACL for Neighbors. His season is over, J-Mac.
Absolutely. He's such a tremendous weapon for his quarterback. Not having him out there changes everything for this offense. It usually dictates defense. They won't have that anymore.
And then a mistake here. Herbert, he's playing without his left tackle, Joe Alt, at this point.
Yeah.
Looking for Ladd McConkey. He's picked off by Drew Phillips.
Yeah, out of source there, his first multi-interception game since October of 2023 for Justin Herbert. Safe to say he was under siege for much of this game.
Dart, shovel pass, score. Giants win 21-18. Here he is.
Have a special relationship. You know, he's the guy that believed in me from day one. And you know, I think it does say a lot, you know, that he made the decision and had the confidence in me, and you know, even just giving me the ball in those situations on that third down to make a play. So, you know, I think that I know that when you have a coach who you know has your back, you know, I'm gonna go out there and do everything that I can for him to win.
Obviously talking about Brian Daboll and that game plan, because they really put Dart in a position to succeed. After using pre-snap motion more than half the time in Russell Wilson's starts, it was all the way down to just 24% yesterday. And the Giants used less max protection, more screen passes with Dart in the lineup. Dan, Jeff, how much different was that tape for the Giants with Dart under center this week?
Yeah, very different. A lot of the offensive creativity that we had kind of become accustomed to with Brian Daboll presented itself. I think with Jaxson Dart, a couple things. The game never looked too fast for him, never looked too overwhelmed. The athleticism was a big deal. This is an offense that struggled big time in the red zone. This is what I call that PRO, the pass run option, run and stick at the bottom of the screen. Easy completion for the quarterback, while also adding in that quarterback ISO opposite, and you're just reading to the left side. If that guy matches Malik Neighbors, it's one-on-one essentially with the back and the linebacker. Incredible block by Scattaboo. Yep. And then there's Jaxson Dart splitting those safeties. Yeah. The creativity was back. The no huddle was part of their offense. They played a little bit more spread out. The different formations, the RPO efficiency. I just think this was the scratching of the surface for their offense. A great start versus incredible defense. The Neighbors injury matters, no doubt, but you got to love at least game one out of Jaxson Dart in this Giants offense.
I think the thing that flashed the most, Stan, you mentioned this, the athleticism. You saw one of the things I like the best about Jaxson Dart in college, which is that when he scrambles, he's not bailing and then trying to turn the corner. He's running through the teeth of the defense, and that was honestly quite useful against a defense like LA that, in terms of playing a lot of quarters coverage, does leave voids in the middle of the field for an opportunistic quarterback to run through. That said, I think he's going to have to get a feel for the limitations of his athleticism in the NFL, not just in terms of avoiding contact on scrambles, but some of the sacks he took, you could tell he thought, oh, I can make a defender miss. I'm that dude, and the NFL is different. So I think that's a lesson he'll learn. But yeah, to me, that's just the number one thing that jumped out is he's an extremely athletic dual threat quarterback, and it's not surprising Brian Daboll lead into that.
Yeah, MK, the sack stuff is probably the biggest thing this week is watching it and going, okay, love your decision here. Love the thought to go become a runner here. It was very Josh Allen-like, and I know people have made that comp,
right.
But when he saw those seams part, it was like, yo, go take off. I would be way more encouraged and hopeful if the Neighbors injury didn't happen and hopefully Malik comes back healthy next year. But I do think just week one, you're like, hey, the at least the special athleticism and the decision-making was something to hang your hat on.
I mean, Brian Daboll had like little hearts for eyes. Like every time, find somebody that looks at you the way he looks at Jaxson Dart, which is kind of the way that Harbaugh has always been with Justin Herbert. That was not a great game for the Chargers in a lot of respects. What are your concerns after they had won 3 in a row? What you saw yesterday?
When you lose your left tackle and Joe Alt, and you're already losing your right tackle and Rashawn Slater, and Mekhi Becton doesn't play because of concussion, the concerns are keeping Justin Herbert up right now. He's hit 26 times in the last 2 games. I think on top of that, they've dropped back more than 40 times in the last 2 games. So this is an offense that, yes, when they're rolling and Justin Herbert is making the incredible throws, we love to watch it and we celebrate it. But when you start to break it down for Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, they got to get back to the run game, which Omari and Hampton, 2 big runs in that game yesterday, was nice to see. They're going to have to rely on that more, especially with how banged up they are on the offensive line.
Just looked very uncharacteristic for a team that had been as dominant really from the start of games in the first 3 weeks as any in the NFL. I mentioned earlier that Justin Herbert had multiple interceptions for the first time since the game in 2023. You also saw at the bottom of your screen that Giants defensive front got after it with a variety of different players as well. They have a great front seven to the Giants, but a 68% pass rush win rate, which is the best for any Giants game since ESPN began tracking that back in 2017. So that Chargers offensive line injury attrition has really started to matter. And Shefty already said earlier, Joe Alt's got maybe a high ankle sprain. He thought he could have come back into the game, but if there's any doubt that he might not be available this upcoming week, potentially being down 3 starters, the Chiefs look a little bit more like the Chiefs yesterday. All of a sudden, that big lead in the AFC West just feels a little bit smaller this afternoon.
Right, you almost think back to the schedule and being able to play 3 division games and win all of them hopefully gave them a little bit of cushion. All right, coming.
Everybody saw it. It was the hit heard around the world. Maris Liafu from the Dallas Cowboys. First of all, I don't know what Matthew Golden was thinking. He spent for nothing, turned his back to the defense, and he met that pressure. Because this is what you call pressure. That is the legit definition of bust that up. Liafu coming straight down. First of all, who the hell is supposed to be blocking the man? That's number one. So Golden got a gripe and he got a right to be mad. But this is the embodiment of bust that ish up.
I knew you loved that one. Kenneth Gainwell, Steelers running back, lived up to his name on Sunday in London. 99 yards, 68% success rate. I thought he looked extremely decisive and sharp on those under-center outside zone runs. Steelers have not been able to run the ball well this year, but I think they've landed on something with Gainwell and those 6 offensive line looks. Something to keep an eye on, Pittsburgh. It helps their offense out a great deal.
Thank you for stealing my point on the Steelers, but shout out to James Gladstone and Liam Cohen and Anthony Campanelli in Jacksonville. Not only because they're winning, but this is no fluff football team anymore. This is a violent football team. This is a physical football team in Jacksonville. Offensively, they punch you in the face. They can run the football. And defensively, this defensive coordinator, Campanelli, he's got these dudes running to the ball, hitting, taking the ball away. This is a fun unit to watch on tape right now. It feels like a very different football team in Jacksonville just from a physicality standpoint.
Things almost got violent after the game, too, with Cohen and
they
Robert.
did. They're playing around down there no more, Hannah.
Practice what you preach. Practice what you preach.
Yeah, no kidding. They host Kansas City a week from tonight. That is going to be a really, really interesting game. All right, more of Week 4 action. And this one was, too, the Colts and the Rams. Again, the Colts came into this undefeated. They're down 13-10. And Daniel Jones finding A.D. Mitchell, which was going to be just an amazing play until he lets go of the ball before crossing the plane. That is a touchback. What a mistake. The Rams take possession. Oh, this is just hard to watch if you're a Colts fan. All right, just over 3 minutes left in the fourth with the Rams down 7. We pick it up at a 4th and 2, and it's Matthew Stafford finding Puka Nacua for the touchdown. The Rams tie it at 20. And then there's this, the first play of their next drive, Stafford to Tutu Atwell. It is an 88-yard touchdown to take the lead, the longest touchdown. Look at McVay. The longest touchdown of Matthew Stafford's career. He's going to run out of gas running all the way down the field there as the Rams win 27-20. That go-ahead touchdown pass with just 1:33 left marked his 14th career passing touchdown inside the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter or overtime, which means that Stafford ties Tom Brady for the most in NFL history. Get this. It was his 50th career game-winning drive in the fourth quarter or overtime. Absolutely stunning. He's your guy, Dan. How did he get it done?
I will tell the NFL, do not play this offense in traditional zone coverage. They will gut you. Matthew against zone coverage yesterday, the way that he was moving defenders with his eyes to open up people was absolutely spectacular. And with the reality, I think Sean McVay got to the point in the game yesterday where, like, hey, this Colts defense, one, can't get to us, and two, can't cover us. And it was just a throw fest, no matter if it was Puka Nacua or Devontae Adams. And I think that tape offensively, if you're a defense in the NFC that doesn't play some form of man and or match man coverage, you want to play a traditional zone defense, you can't against the Rams. He's too good. Their protections are too strong. The route concepts are too diverse, and he will move your defenders too much. That was artwork when it comes to moving people with your eyes.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just want to talk about Puka Nacua. I mean, we're only 4 weeks into the season. He's the best offensive player in football, in my mind. And I want to emphasize player because he does so much for this offense. Yesterday, you really saw his emergence as a deep threat. I thought Sean McVay did a terrific job of moving around to hunt matchups. Really, Xavier Howard, let's be honest. And Matthew Stafford showed great faith in him, but that faith has been earned by the leap he has taken in terms of his ability to track the football, separate late hands, tremendous. Still unbelievable, maybe one of the best run after the catch receivers in the NFL. You saw that on the screen. And then the blocking. I mean, the Rams have the most efficient rushing attack in football, and Nacua is a big part of the reason why he gets his hands dirty in a way that very few receivers, frankly, do in the NFL. He's just so unbelievable all around, Dan, and I think this year he was already incredible. He's taken yet another leap.
Yeah, his name has to be in the MVP conversation. If we're going about the MVP in the proper way, like value to your football team, to your point, Mina, there's no one that really provides as much. There's not a single route that he does not run. There's not a single thing that he can't do with the ball in his hands. He blocks nickels. He blocks corners. He blocks linebackers. They hand him the football off. I mean, I said a couple weeks ago, he's the best receiver in the league that no one calls the best receiver in the league. I think now people are starting to sit there and go, he legit might be the best wide receiver in the NFL. He certainly belongs in the MVP conversation.
And on top of that, just the great personality, right, that he shows. I mean, he's so fantastic for that team. We're going to see them on Thursday night. It's a really quick week for them against the Niners, guys. So I want to get some injury news, which is unbelievable. Could there be more for the Niners? But